Hi, I'm Fiona Thompson. I've recently been known as the filmmaker who was aboard the Rachel Corrie. The Free Gaza movement who had bought the boat, which was formerly known as the MV Linda, at an auction in Dundalk. And I got a little bit curious as to see what that was all about, so I took myself down to the harbour and introduced myself and just said that I didn't have much else to offer, but if they needed me to kind of do a little bit of filming for them while they were here in Dundalk, getting the boat ready and they could put it on the website or whatever, that I would be able to do that. I'd become quite friendly with Derek and Jenny Graham. They had asked me would I consider going on the trip, and I said that I would. And then I got kind of the official phone call about a week before we were due to go to Malta, which was the 28th of May. So I got the phone call on the Monday of that week to say there's a big possibility that we do want you to come on board, so if you could kind of prepare yourself. I flew to Malta and I met up with Jenny and Derek, and then the Malaysian crew that were going to be on the trip as well flew into Malta, and we all got on the boat on Sunday the 29th of May, the night of Sunday the 29th of May. The atmosphere was great all the way along, and then of course Monday morning we woke up to the news that the Turkish ship had been attacked and that there were people dead. But because we were out on the sea and we only had two satellite phones, we couldn't really get an official response on what had happened. So we were hearing that there were 2 shot, then we were hearing there were 19, then we were hearing this, so we had conflicting reports coming to us. Being out on the boat, we had no newspapers, we had no internet access, so we only had the news from whoever was ringing into the satellite phones. I think there was concerns amongst everybody that we would certainly be approached by the Israeli military, and then what we had to do was just put into action. Well, certainly Derek Graham kind of put plans into action and as to what we would do if that happened, and how we would behave and how we would respond to it. We would all be sitting midships, and that the Israeli Navy would know that we'd be sitting midships, and that the Israeli Navy would know as well that we were peaceful and that we had no arms whatsoever, and that we were a humanitarian aid boat. I filmed up onto a very safe point. I filmed up on the bridge with Derek's communications to the Israeli Navy across the CB. We filmed the Israeli warships coming in either side, flanking us. There was 2 warships, 2 gunships, and 6 Zodiacs that came to arrest us on the sea. So I filmed all that right up onto a close level when the Zodiacs were coming in, because I didn't want them, of course, to think that my camera was a weapon pointing at them. So there was obviously had to be a cut-off point for safety reasons. I knew they were going to take whatever tape was in the camera, so also a safety measure was also to make sure that there was a tape in the camera that only had a little tiny bit of footage on it, so that when they opened the camera they would find the tape, and that I would have had time to hide the other tapes. We were detained and searched, our identification verified, and then we were detained on the boat as the boat was being escorted to Ashdod in Israel. When we got to Israel, we were taken in the back way to Israel, into the port, into the harbour. There were apparently people waiting the other side, reporters, I think Rachel Corrie being one of them. They were waiting the other side, but we weren't taken that way, and we were taken in, and it was very much military personnel that were there on the harbour when we got there. And straight away there was a portable X-ray unit for all the baggage, which the Navy or the Israeli military handled themselves. So once we were detained on the boat, they gathered up all the luggage that was on the boat. They went through it, they took out whatever hard drives, they kept my camera, they kept camera phones, they kept anything that they thought could possibly store any images, audio or video. We went through another search, an immigration search, when we got onto the harbour, a temporary unit that was set up to search us, and then we were put onto a bus that was taking us to the detention centre. Again, we went in there and we got searched there, and then we were separated up. So the 3 girls we went to one room with bunk beds in it, and the guys went to another room with bunk beds. So, you know, the door closes, it doesn't open again unless somebody opens it. There was a few strange things. They were generally okay, but they didn't really come near us at all. We went to try and go out for cigarettes at one stage, and he led us out for 10 minutes, but they wouldn't give us a lighter. So we were standing outside with our cigarettes, but they wouldn't, they wouldn't give us a lighter to light our cigarettes. You know, petty stuff, silly stuff like that. Not, you know, just annoying. When we first went for deportation, we went to one place first where they did our fingerprints and our passports and took a copy of it, and we were asked to sign forms in Hebrew, and we were also asked to sign another form to say that we had illegally entered into Israel, which we hadn't, because they had come on board our boat and they had forced us into Israel. I was told certainly that if I didn't sign these pieces of paper that I would be thrown in jail for 3 days, and that I wasn't entitled to my lawyer or whatever. So I still didn't sign. And when we got to the detention centre, the ambassador for Ireland, Breffney O'Reilly, was there, and the representative in Israel, Conor Long, was there with the proper paperwork that we needed. And also they had obviously been kind of chatting to the authorities and stuff, so they were able to give us a lot more information. And when we came back to Dublin, there was a huge reception, a media reception, and friends and family at the airport for us. And the IPSC had organised for rooms for us in the Central Hotel in Dublin so that we could get showered and changed and relax and get something to eat. We're still not sure what the next step is. To later on today, we should have released some footage of just like the warships and whatever else. I suppose because I didn't realise this was going to happen, or would be such a big story, I'm just going to have to take a little bit of time and just think about it and see what I actually have, what I don't have. Can we make a documentary out of it? How are we going to proceed with that? But certainly when I left Ireland, I didn't bank on coming back and spend the summer putting together a documentary to this extent. When you meet Derek and Jenny Graham, their passion for Gaza, for the people of Gaza, for the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is a little bit infectious, and you can't be helped but caught up in it all. So certainly work with Derek and Jenny Graham again.